Tornadoes up to EF2 or higher are possible today, along with large to very large hail or even giant hail, and up to hurricane force wind gusts. To start with, this is the SPC outlook for today, right? So we have the enhanced risk that is expanded now. It's all the way towards right on the border of Pennsylvania and Ohio, all the way westward until central Illinois here, and points to the north towards South Bend, Indiana, Toledo, Ohio, Dayton, Shelbyville, Indiana. Okay, so there's a 30% overall risk, right? Okay, so then, which means in general, the highest severe threat is 30% within 25 miles of a point. We'll go through those threats here in a second, but I want to outline the risk here. So further out here, we have a slight risk, 15%, all the way back towards Macon, Missouri, it looks like, right? And up towards Chicago still, Detroit, Kalamazoo, Michigan, and into near central Pennsylvania, west central Pennsylvania, near, let me see if I can zoom in to the east of Punxsutawney here, where the uh, groundhog is, and a larger margin of risk all the way back down into Kansas City area and points to the southeast, and extends all the way eastward towards Allentown, towards Louisville, Kentucky, up to Lansing, Michigan. And you can see where that marginal risk is here. As far as tornadoes, we have a sig 1 risk for tornadoes here in most of the area, which indicates excuse me, a up to EF2 reasonably expected possible here. Although the brown shading indicates a 5% tornado risk, and the green shading, excuse me, indicates 2%. So overall, the tornado threat spatially is pretty low, but if you do get a tornado, it could be strong anywhere within this hatched area here. Strong gusty winds up to hurricane force are also possible, and more likely in the red area here. Okay, this is the 30% wind risk. Okay, so anywhere in the hatched area, you have a potential up to 75-mile-per-hour wind gust going into tonight, into tomorrow, this evening, tonight, and tomorrow. Okay, so further out, the non-hatched area indicates up to 50-knot wind gust, which is around 60 miles an hour or so. So either way, pretty like a enhanced risk, right? So you have 30%. So it's the second time we've had this kind of well, a severe threat in this area. If you remember, we had excuse me, tornado come through. I'm trying to find on the map here, but eastern Illinois into western Indiana, near Kankakee. So Kannakee's back in that area again. Hail is even a wider threat here for up to 2-inch diameter hail anywhere in this hatch region, which the highest spatial coverage is anticipated. Spatial meaning 30% versus 15 versus 5. So as you get further out, the spatial coverage is forecast to be less, although it could be just as intense if it does happen down here in southwestern part of the threat area. So that's it for the severe threat. And next we'll go over the synoptic pattern, the overall pattern and timing and things like that. So we often start on discussions with the synoptic environment, which means the flow environment here. It's 500 millibars or 700 millibars, which is 700 is a little bit closer to the surface. And what we're looking at here is the Midwest mid-level flow, right? Ohio Valley Midwest, right? This is about 1800 UTC, which is about 6 p.m. Zulu, which is about 2 p.m. or so, right? Central. Okay, don't hold me to that. But anyway, that's this is the HRRR ensemble view, or what this does allows me to view, get an ensemble mean, which of all the different convection allowing models, right? So what I'm seeing here on the screen, right, you have some enhanced flow right in the Chicago area here, right? And what you have here is maybe a short wave move through the flow here. Some kinks in the height lines. Very, very subtle though, right? Just moving through, okay? So that's, you know, even as subtle as it is, that's what's driving our severe threat, I think, today. You can see it amplifies just a little bit as it moves through, right? And you still have these westerly winds and southwesterly with enhanced flow, generally in the Ohio Valley and Midwest here, okay? So let's go up a little bit higher, a little bit lower, sorry, in the atmosphere, excuse me, towards the surface, 850, which is close to the surface, right? You see it looks like a surface wave developing here. See the flow going this way? Enhanced low-level jet right here, okay? That's some enhanced flow that could help with the severe weather chances when you have this low-level flow stronger this way. You could get, it helps with low-level shear, right? So let's see what happens with this feature. As it kind of gets strung out here, you can see the flow up to the north here is like this, and then it goes like this. So this is where your front is roughly, right? See the flow here. Okay, so once this passes, that'll be the end for the weather threat for that area. So as far as current conditions, we have some showers and storms moving through Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky this morning, which should move out of the area in time for this area to recover during the day today. And then we have our enhanced flow on the northern side of this expansive high pressure ridge down to the south here, which is bringing really dry air. As you can see from the satellite, mid-level dry air. Still with maybe a low-level circulation, mid-level circulation moving through the Los Angeles area, but no rainfall associated with it. You can see the flow here, right? Again, gonna be going this way. Okay, so we're gonna get it. We're gonna get like a dip in the flow here, and that'll move this way, and our severe weather threat is in here. So the this is the HRRR short range model. This is like a updates every 15 minutes or so. This is showing the severe risk today, right? You can see what that is here. Parts of the Midwest and Ohio Valley, squarely in the bullseye here, with some snow out west here. That ongoing precip up in Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and the radar depiction of the precip here in Ohio Valley this morning. Okay, this is 3:45. Okay, so now we're at 7 a.m. Showers and storms moving through the area, move out, right? Let's take this off. And then you see storms firing up in the Chicago area here, starting around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, okay? And so now we're going to switch to a different product here. Again, this is HRRR convection allowing model, right? Starting off with this storms in the Chicago area around 4 p.m. today. This isn't exactly what's going to happen, but this is what this model is depicting. So you see this purple area here. Purple areas indicate rotating supercells here, right along the front part of this line as it moves to the south. That doesn't preclude severe weather after this passes, but when the cold air encroaches on this area, especially on the Great Lakes, and pointing southward here, and I'll show you the dew points in a minute, it'll preclude tornado risk, but you see this rotating updrafts indicated by the HRRR, okay? And you can see again, we have rotating updrafts here along the front edge of this line, Toledo, north of Indianapolis, Jamestown, New York area, and maybe even some supercells further to the east here. But these look like the possible rotating storms we've been talking about, all right? And they move southward. You see they continue to go this way, 7 p.m. Moving to the east, southeast generally, right, with a more enhanced line, rotating cells anywhere from Lima. This is kind of a dirty, it's hard to really see all the town names, but you see the rotating updrafts all the way east to State College, okay? Strong storms ongoing into 8 p.m. And then you get some firing back west here, some more rotating updrafts, and even some intense convection north into Chicago. once you redevelop some of this convection further to the west. And you have generally just embedded supercells here, especially to the west here and to the south, and maybe all the way back into Kansas, you get some stuff developing here as well. All right, and this is 2 a.m. Ongoing storms, although I don't see any rotating updrafts anymore within the line here. And generally just heavy rainfall. You can see where the front is, right? Moves to the east. And that line kind of gets strung out here, all right? And so we go to 5 a.m. This is ongoing into the morning hours. And during the day, the front gets even more strung out further to the west here. Maybe some storms along the east coast, not expected to be severe, okay? And then we have moisture back into Texas, which is a welcome break for them. You also see the temperatures here. And again, let me know where you guys live. I really love to know where y'all live and what you're experiencing, okay? You see the temperatures aren't forecast to get above 60 right along the lakes here. So it's be hard to get some surface-based convection here, but we'll see, right? Warmer temps to the west here and all the way up into, northern into New England, 60s, 70s, all right? Our dew points forecast to only increase here according to the HRRR model down to Texas, but we may have a little bit drier air in the middle part of the country here, but dew points in the 60s. You see the dew point in Chicago is only in the 50s. So, but let's look at this real quick. You see this boundary right here along the lakes, cold air pushing off the lakes. We had a similar thing happen with the system about a week and a half ago that went through I can't pronounce it again. Went through this area, and it looks like it rode that boundary and started just south of it. So we'll see if that happens again or what happens with this boundary, because it's definitely pushing pretty far to the south here. So doesn't look to be as sharp as the last one was. But let's look at the temperatures again. See that boundary pushing to the south here. Yeah, it is pretty sharp. So you have 40, 50 degree temperatures, and you have 80s right to the south here, 90s down not too far from there. So that's interesting as well. So I don't want to make this video too long, but I did want to let y'all know that I want to do some specific area forecasts, and I'll do that next. If you want to skip through the timestamps for your area, I'll be happy to do that. Or you can end it now, whatever you want to do. But I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll put a forecast together next for some areas here based on the local forecast area products. So this was issued from the Chicago Forecast Area National Weather Service products, right? This threat area has changed a little bit since yesterday, so I can anticipate a different product with the threat area further to the south, right? Because if you look at look now, the enhanced risk is further to the south, Chicago here. With that in mind, the threat will be a little bit further to the south, but the overall threats are about the same, right? So the overall stow motion will be to the east at 60 miles per hour, and the main window is severe, and I talked about that, and the timing will be between 3 and 9 p.m. A few tornadoes, potentially 2 inches or greater diameter hail, which is pretty big. It can hurt, so don't go out on that and try to film or something. I mean, it's not a good idea anyway. Damaging winds up to hurricane force in the hatched area as well that I described earlier. Generally, severe threat will increase as we go through the day, and after 7 p.m. we could have very large hail. Damaging winds. Okay, so severe threat a 1 to 2 from 1 to 4 p.m., 2 to 3 on a scale of 5 from 4 to 7, and after 7, a scale 2 to 3 still, well, the highest coverage pushing further to the south here towards Connecticut and other places like that. So around 1 p.m., this shows the frontal passage timing for the Chicago area. There's still some uncertainty with the frontal passage, but you see the temperatures, and I talked about that in the forecast. 70s and 80s far to the south here, and then that front pushing off the lakes here, 50s and 60s by 6 p.m., pushing to the south towards Paxton, Westniller, Fowler, places like that. So very warm and then cooling off pretty quickly as it goes through the day. As far as the Lincoln, Nebraska area, this was updated this morning, the 26th. And so we have a level 3 out of 5 and 2 out of 5 in the forecast area, level 1 for the south here. So some gusts approaching 70, 75 mile per hour. Some hail larger than golf balls and tornadoes up to EF3. I don't know if EF3 is reasonable here, but I would say EF2 probably more likely. All right. Storm motion to the east very quickly, so you won't have much time to prepare for these tornadoes, okay, or threats. Flash flooding isolated in east central Illinois, okay, so the best chances of tornadoes between 4 and 8 p.m. High temperatures approaching 90 in far southwestern Illinois today. As far as the northern Indiana forecast office, enhanced risk of storms, today. Some longer-lived severe storms and a few intense tornadoes possible, and the highest local risk here are level 3 out of 5, with a level 2 out of 5 further to the north. So, the storms are expected to come through between 5 p.m. and midnight in the northern Indiana area. So have multiple ways to receive alerts here. You can see the forecast today, 70s and 80s, tonight close to freezing, much colder tomorrow and Saturday, and it's a Sunday warming up again. So this is the forecast briefing from the National Weather Service, Northern Ohio, Northwestern Pennsylvania area. Enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5. Damaging wind gusts, tornadoes here possible. These severe storms are possible in northeast Ohio here and northwest PA early this afternoon. Widespread storms moving through tonight, 5 p.m. to midnight, okay? And then as we, if I can get this to come off here, move down, here's your threat outlook, right? Round 1 of storms between 1 and 4 p.m. Northeast Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania. Round 2, 5 p.m. to midnight area wide. Have multiple ways to receive warnings. Wind gusts to 80 mile per hour possible. Hail up to 2 inches in diameter. And a few tornadoes embedded in the line are possible today. Here's your severe wind and hail probabilities for this area. You can see the hatched risk indicates the highest damage potential, right? And here's your tornado threat for this area as well, with possible strong tornadoes in the hatched area also. And there's the outline what forecast area, right? There's a flooding threat here. Training of storms might also allow for limited flooding threat, 5 p.m. through tonight. And one last thing, here's your thunderstorm risk categories. Thunderstorms marginal slight. So we're in this area, part of this area is an enhanced risk with numerous severe storms possible, more persistent and widespread, or a few intense storms. Here's your severe risk for the State College PA area is slight to marginal risk of severe weather today. The excessive rainfall risk for Thursday to Thursday night also exists, limited. Total rainfall expected 1.5 to 2 inches in southwestern part of the area, and temperatures falling 20 degrees or more as we get towards the end of the day. And to start with, it's going to be 20 degrees above normal. So crazy stuff here. Well, thanks for watching today, everybody. I appreciate y'all trusting me to give you your forecast for today and talk about the severe weather. I really enjoy doing it. If I appreciate it if y'all will leave some comments or anything in my on my YouTube channel or my social media platforms. I'm really trying to hone in my forecast here, so I really would appreciate any suggestions or anything like that. I know I sometimes say a lot in my when I'm talking about my forecast. I'm trying not to do that, but that's a hard habit to break. So appreciate y'all watching and trusting in me for your weather needs. Hope you have a great day. Be safe.